Yeah, maybe. We for sure.
Yeah.
That's good.
You want me to shut this one off too?
Oh.
The cut.
Watching the dog.
Yeah. I'll see you guys in a bit.
I wouldn't go in. I would just wait outside. Either way.
Shut her down. I know.
That
Because now the company.
Think this is gonna look fun good stuff.
Yeah. I don't think she liked that very well.
Shit. set. Can we
Okay.
move this to WhatsApp? And muted. Much.
Or higher.
Right there.
Okay, ready or not, folks, I'm sharing my corner project. Those of you who've been with me for quite some time, you know that used to be a gazebo back there, and I had tore it down last year, and I was so excited to come up with a project that came through, and I drew it up and I had it all in my head. I spent a whole off season prior to me tearing that gazebo down. I had a perfect plan for that. Well, then we had a wrinkle thrown in. The homeowners back there sold their property to a new homeowner, and which is great. They're great people, but right away they built a very large patio in the background. So anytime they're on the patio, even with the children, their waistline is right even pretty much with that fence. So we've got this beautiful yard, and we're doing what we can. And I'll pan you around here, especially those of you who might just be tuning in and trying to figure out what we're doing here in this garden. But anyway, we those homeowners moved in, they built that, and so I had to throw the old plan that I had for the gazebo replacement out the door and come up with something else. So I reimagined for about a season, and I thought I'd get to it last year. But the more I would come into this back garden, they would sit out on their patio, and they would do what most people do on their patio, right? Cook, play catch, hang out, play cards, have friends over. Well, all of this right here is beautiful, but then when I got to that corner, it was just kind of it didn't fit, right? You got people staring at you and waving and that, and so I had to come up with something, and I reimagined this area, and I came up with this little chicken coop, which is going to be amazing. We'll get to the chicken coop idea here in a minute, but the project that I did have prior was going to have water, and it was going to be fun. And like I said, threw it out the door. And so how did I come up with the chicken coop idea? Well, my wife and I, when I was growing up, I spent some time in the country, and I absolutely love the country and the freedom that came with living in the country. Well, one thing led to another. We get married, we end up buying a country home, but then we wanted to move to the big city. And so we grew up in Garden City, Kansas, which is on the other side. It's by the panhandle of Oklahoma and Colorado. So back in the southwestern part of the state. And so we wanted to move up towards Kansas City because we love the sports and the arenas and the ability to go to concerts and all the different things that a big city brings, right? So we move into this home and I think, okay, we'll flip it and we'll move on, and the next homeowner can appreciate a few trees that we would pop in, and you know, I was just barely finding my way until I found Laura with Garden Answers and seen what she was doing with her property, you know, 6-7 years ago, 7 maybe 8 years ago, and it blew me away. And I was like, you can do that to a garden, and that's crazy and madness. So I kind of started to get the ideas from her and what she did to her garden. And so I was like, wow, we can really transform this. And then my wife was like, well, if we're going to flip this house, you don't want to put all the effort and time and energy into this yard. Let's just plant a couple trees, yada yada, and we'll move on. Well, prices skyrocketed. Land is outrageous, and so and now we're empty nesters. Our kids have gone off to college, graduated, and moved out, and we've got one that's lagging behind, but he's close, and he's not really home ever. So we're kind of at that stage, and so it's like, do you really want to start over? Or do you want to spend the money to do some traveling and work more in the garden and not have to live to pay for a brand new property? So I gave in, and she compromised, and I said, well, if we're not going to the country, can I get some livestock? Can I get some chickens? So we have to go get a permit for these chickens. We cannot have roosters for obvious reasons, but we can have the hens, and that's going to be fun, and we're going to add it to this property. Well, when I had to reimagine this space here, I thought, you know, I need something tall enough that I don't see the neighbors anymore, because as you've seen when I panned around, it would make 0 sense to do all of this work and create this fairy tale of a garden and close it in and kind of give the illusion that you're kind of, once you start kind of walking and you start thinking and you're doing the things in this garden that most people would do when they would visit a garden, you kind of lose yourself where you're at, and it wouldn't have that same feel if we're staring at our neighbors as they cook and play catch and play cards and do the things like I talked about before on their patio. So nothing wrong with that. So I had to go vertical with the garden, and there's not much I can do. We've got the sycamore tree, and then to the left of the tree I've got a maple tree. And so these two are gonna do the work of kind of softening the hardscape and whatnot, but I needed to still go vertical, and I could not add more trees in there, and I was trying to figure out a way to go vertical. And when my wife and I came up with the chicken idea, and she compromised and said I can be a homeowner of some chickens, this is how we came up with it. And I thought, well, I still need the whimsy. It can't just be, you know, the everyday chicken coop, because that's just not gonna fit in this garden, and that's not what I do. I try not to do easy, and I try not to, you know, I can copy off of people, but I don't try to do the exact same thing. I don't want it to be a carbon copy. I want to put my own flair and whatnot. Well, one thing led to another, and I don't know how we ended up here. My wife calls it the chicken castle because she says I'm overboard, but I just call it a coop, whatever. But yeah, so once we're able to move in these chickens, and we'll put up all the netting and stuff, and I'll take you behind there another time. I just wanted to kind of get you familiar with what we're doing over here. I'm so excited to kind of be able to introduce this piece to the channel and on my Instagram as well, because it's been something I wanted to share, but because it's a hard process to share stuff. And I know people will say, don't worry about what other people think, but when you're sharing stuff on social media, there's a tendency for people to give you ideas, or not really ideas, but to make you think that you did it wrong. And so I'm not a carpenter by any means, and I'm not much. I've got knowledge in a little bit, but not a ton. And so this is what I came up with, and I didn't want anybody to be like, well, don't put your window there, and don't, you know, and And all those are great ideas. That's why I asked for the ideas. But this thing right here was going to be just kind of my own personal touch to the garden. And that's kind of why I didn't share it. And so when I'm videotaping, it's very hard to kind of not share this property or this piece on the property, because it is a smaller property. People do ask me how much land do you own there. It's a 1/4 acre lot, and so we've got a lot going on in this small space. And so when you're videotaping, it's a tough obstacle to not share it. But I'm so excited to now finally share it, and we'll kind of walk through here, because the last couple videos, people really got excited about the project. I will film over here, pan over here, pardon me. They got excited about this project, and they really gave a lot of information, and it's fun because I got your thinker thinking and what you could do and whatnot. But yeah, I'm so excited. So if you watched the video and you didn't just jump to the very end, one, I thank you for watching the whole process. I wish that these projects came together in 3 or 4 minutes, whatever it ends up being once I'm done editing, but it doesn't work like that. But you will see that door does work. How I came about this whole plan, I don't know. I don't know how it hit me. And at first I was going to use wood pallets to cut and kind of do shingle siding, and then I started to do the roof, and I was like, I just got to kind of, I don't know, I didn't want it to look new, but I didn't want it to look old, and so I was kind of caught in a tough spot, and I didn't want it to look ordinary. But there's still a few things we're going to do to this before we start landscaping. You can see the ground is still needing landscaped. I've got some ideas for there. You can see back here, I started to do a dry stack. I wanted so badly to add a fake fireplace and make it look like a fireplace up through here. And then I started cutting the roof, and oh my gosh, I got about midway through and I forgot my idea of the fireplace, so I cut it too short, and I was like, you know what, it wasn't meant to be if that's the case. So that fireplace will not happen, but I do got some more ideas in the garden. I'm thinking next spring, and so we'll see how it turns out. But I do want to add a fireplace to that project. Well, stay tuned, right? It's my little cliffhanger, little tease there. But yeah, we've got more things going on in this garden, because we're just not trying to be just an average, ordinary garden. Not for the sake of this channel. I make nothing off this channel. I don't get enough views or anything to quit my job and continue to fake it till I make it. That it's nothing like that. I will come up with these projects, and I would be doing this whether I was filming it or not, and that's just the way it is. But I think down the road the next project will be fun. So my imagination will take me in places I don't know. Sometimes I wake up thinking, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? You need to slow down. But anyway, whether I had the channel or not, I would still be doing this. I just fortunate enough I get to share it with you wonderful people. Okay, so the door does work. I can't wait to take it to the backside, because it's not just flat in the back, and there's some other things that I'll be sharing with you. But ultimately, I won't be hiding the chickens back there. They will end up coming out here, and I don't want to get too far down the road. I just want to share with what we got. We still do have a few things to do to this, but ultimately I came to a conclusion that it's time to share, and so I will ultimately end up doing a lot more to this. One, for instance, I'm wanting to put some shutters on here, and I'm thinking about painting them yellow. I've never had shutters on a home before. I've got to research it, but I think the shutters would look fun. My wife is still skeptical. I told her that I've already, kind of primed one up, and I need to paint it, and we'll see. But I think the door and the shingles are supposed to match. I don't know. We'll see. But I think it would be fun to just put some shutters on there, and not leave them open and not leave them closed. We'll go probably 3/4 of the way shut, but make it look like it's a little bit more than it is. Of course, we've got the Hobbit door. To mimic the other Hobbit door down the road. And that's kind of how I came up with that inspiration over there, because I like the Hobbit door. Someone asked where I got that piece of metal. Let's pan over here nice and slowly. But we've got this Hobbit door, right? And the reason why, somebody asked me, why are you even asking us? You know what you're going to do anyways. No, ultimately I was asking you guys because I was trying to figure out some obstacles that I was facing with this project, and so I thought maybe you guys could walk me through some of your ideas, and it would have a light bulb type moment for me that I can introduce to the other piece. But this, I'll pan back around here. I might have gone too far. You can see the little pond in the background. You see the water moving. We're going to end up bringing that pond around up here. So for a waterfall effect, it'll be fun. Let me slowly bring you around. I figured out the camera that I was using tends to move faster than I think. So when I'm walking the garden, I feel like I'm moving slow, but then you get it and it's erratically moving. So I'm starting to use my phone and it's helping out a lot better. That last video that I put out was a lot smoother. So hopefully you will be able to see the contrast. So I did hear that out. So that piece of metal back here with the circles, some of you have asked, where did I get that? That was just a piece of sheet metal that was ended up, had it laser cut the opening, and that's how this opening is the same size as the chicken coop opening. If you're asking me, why do I ask what somebody else's opinion is when when I know what I want? Well, how many of you guys said, let's move the ladder from laying down or from just staying flat? I ultimately thought I was going to, I think I've said ultimately probably 12 times, and I don't say that word. I don't know where that's coming from. Okay, I digress. Anyway, we are going, at one time I was going to add planters to the top of that and make it look like somebody was put planters on there, but somebody said, why don't you lean that up? And so I've leaned that ladder up, and it gives it a little bit more style. We could lean it up over here. We can lean it up over there. Irregardless, I think it turned out great. So that moon gate is the same size as this, and the material is the same material. All that was fence panels cut down into a circular size and fit right there. So that's how I came up with the pattern over here. Again, that was my brother. Those of you who have followed me, you know my brother's a welder over in Midland, Texas, works on an oil field, and he's absolutely amazing when it comes to doing anything with metal. Actually, he can do a lot of things, but that specifically is what he works on for me. So the moon gate, you ask, how did I come up with that? For the door entrance, I used the moon gate, I used that moon gate, which got a lot of you to start watching this channel in the first place several years ago. I think I've been with you guys like 3 years, and so that moon gate kind of got people's attention versus passing the channel along or stopping and seeing what it was that I was doing in this garden. That kind of drew you guys in a little bit. So I like to do a lot of the mimic. I like to echo a lot of the things in the garden. So that's how I came up with that opening to the gardens, or to that door. Okay, so what I'm going to do right here along this side going up is I'm going to plant either a vine or a rose. Feel free to give me suggestions on roses that work well for you. We do have beetles that will come in here and decimate the Japanese maples and roses, and so I'm not 100% sure, because I don't want to give a lot of energy, my energy, to protecting something that these Japanese beetles come in and decimate. So we'll see. I might go with the trumpet vine. I know they're invasive, so and those of you who have dealt with trumpet vine, it's very invasive, but they do really good about bringing hummingbirds in. And what better way to sell the idea that this is a fairy tale type garden than to have hummingbirds flying throughout the garden. Anyway, moving right along, I'm either going to do a vine right here, maybe a honeysuckle, not the Japanese maple honeysuckle, or not the Japanese honeysuckle, but maybe the other honeysuckle, and see what it does. And I want to kind of intertwine it through there and see what we can do to make it happy and kind of lessen and soften up that material on the front by the door and make it look more inviting. Maybe like I said, I've got this tree above, the sycamore, and I think it just does a wonderful job. It's flirting with the top of the roof, and as time goes on, those shingles are going to turn a dark gray and weather really well. And I think that will ultimately start to pull the idea that this is an older piece, and that when I put had plans to put that fireplace in. I think that would have done so much more for the idea that this was old, but we'll see. Yeah, but I think we're gonna add shutters to it, or at least I'll pop them up there and see what my wife says. She ultimately gets to, I said it again, but she gets to tell me what she thinks, and that's how we kind of run things around here. So there are, if it's driving you nuts, because it has me, you see the bridge. When I put this bridge in 3 years ago, I knew I was going to do something that led to that corner, because I knew that gazebo was going to come out. And so I just need to move it just a little bit this way, so it guides you more in. Let me step back. I can see that I've been talking for almost 20 minutes, and it's probably bored some of you. So let me get back here and kind of show you what. Let's just turn around, because I am not doing so good turning around here. Okay, so we're on the east side of the home. You kind of walk in here, those of you who are new, and then you can kind of just stand here. Before I stand on the bridge, now I'm standing on the bridge. But doesn't that look fun? Doesn't that tell you to go over there? What is that? And I think it worked out well, and you can see the moon gate again is playing off of that door frame over there, and hopefully it's doing the video as much justice as it is with me standing here. I think it's fun, so I can come from any angle, and you see these little stepping stones. It kind of has that old feel, that fairy tale feel. And then I'll come over here. I am going to replace this with a piece of stone all the way through there. I know I did that video last year and took out what used to be, but look at that. Doesn't that look fun? So you can literally hide. It's been hidden so much from all the videos, and I didn't really have to try so much when I'm in this angle. See all those things? So we're creating those pockets, and I think that's what's ultimately going to give this garden just a little more pizzazz, is all these hidden pieces. And then you walk in here, and then you start to kind of feel like you're walking in. People say a portal, that's fine, portal, but look at that. Once you walk in, isn't that fun? All the different trees, and we just got a lot going on here, and hopefully you're picking up what I'm putting down. So anyway, guys, I want to tell you thank you so much for all the comments on the last couple videos. Thanks for giving me your ideas, and hopefully I'm inspiring you enough that we get some more chitter chatter on here. I love it. Ultimately, oh my gosh, did I just say it again? Okay, thank you guys for watching. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and I'll see you on the flip side. So hit the like, hit the share. We'll see you down the road. Thank you guys so much. Bye-bye.